Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a new video for you guys. I was super excited to come home and film today because I had gotten home from Target with a bunch of goodies. I saw a new drugstore brand from Target called Profusion, and I basically just saw like a bunch of kits, eyeshadow palettes, contour kits, blush kits, brow kits, and they were so cheap. Like I'm talking $4.99 for a full brow kit, $9.99 for a full eyeshadow palette. Like, it was so cheap. So I wanted to pick up a little bit from each like different category and just kind of film a full face of first impressions from this drugstore brand. Give you a first impressions and let you know what products, you know, are definitely worth trying and what products are literally like a steal and can be like a dupe for another product that might be super expensive. I was super excited to just hurry home and film. I'm like literally the type of person that can either spend $65 on an eyeshadow palette, or if I find something bomb for like $5, I will rock that. As long as it's good, does the job, like I'm not ashamed to use it. So I just figured I would let you guys know what's good and what's super cheap and if this line is worth trying. So if you're interested, definitely stick around and watch this video. I'm just gonna start by giving you a sneak peek of some of the products. Like this is one of the eyeshadow palettes, literally $9.99. Look at all these colors. It came with a brush too, full contour kit that I use here for $6.99 or $4.99. Like what? Stay tuned if you want to see how we got this look and you want to see how these products work. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe already. What is this stuff made out of that it's so cheap? My skin's already prepped. I'm just gonna start by priming my eyelids. I'm gonna use my MAC 24-Hour Eye Base. So I put that all over my eyes as my eye base. Next, I'm gonna go into this palette. This is the Profusion Sultry palette. They had a neutral one that had like similar tones to like the Modern Renaissance palette and more of like the warm tones, which I was originally gonna get, but I have so many palettes like that. It comes with a dual-ended brush. Oh yeah, that's really soft. So you get a blending brush on one side, a little flat top brush on the other. The brush looks really promising. And then these are the colors in the palette. Look how pretty. To swatch them because I'm like scared that they're gonna be awful. Like I said, this palette was $10, so I'm really hoping. Looks nice. Alright, so far so good. Shimmers are looking real good. Try a matte color. Oh my gosh, not bad. A little patchy, but not awful. A lot of times the matte colors are very like powdery. That went on pretty smooth. Alright, this is looking good. I'm so excited. I'm gonna start with this color in the palette. I'm gonna use that to set my entire eye area. They are a little powdery. I'm getting a lot of fallout all over my palette with the matte colors. Just to make my life easier, I'm going to put some tape on the edges to kind of give my eye a more crisp path. Next shade I'm going to dip into is this really pretty warm orangey color here. Like before, you do just have to be very gentle when buffing it out in the palette because it does kind of get everywhere. But so far, like the payoff of the shadows, this one is pretty good. Like it's actually blending really nice. Brush is not bad at all. This brush is actually doing a pretty good job. It's doing its job, you know? Ain't mad at you, brush. I'm gonna take this color here. It's like a more chocolate brown tone. I'm gonna place that just below where I placed that more orangey color. Or they're blending out pretty nice. Like my eyes don't look patchy, like it's coming out pretty good, and they're pretty pigmented, so I'm really pleased so far. Darker brown color in the tone Brisky. It's more of like a neutral brown. I'm taking my MAC 221, like a more smaller but still fluffy blending brush to get it really precise in my crease area. The color was definitely pretty pigmented. Like I barely had to dip in the product to get it to that intensity. So now we're going to try the other side. Back in with that first blending brush and no extra product, you just kind of buff out the edges. And for the kill, I'm gonna do this blue tone right here. I think I'm gonna take this color right here, Royalty. It's like a very pretty royal blue. I'm gonna put that all over my eyelid. Alright, so definitely not a lot of pigment at all with this brush. So I'm gonna try it with my MAC 242. Alright, so definitely a little better with this brush. Brush that we applied that darker brown with, and I'm just going to kind of buff out the edges of the shadow. This eye, I'm gonna try applying that shadow with some Fix Plus. Shimmer color isn't as pigmented, like I feel like I have to keep dipping back in. So now I'm gonna try with my ring finger, see if that helps. Yeah. So it goes on way more pigmented if you just go in. Whoa, that it like changes the color too. If you go straight in with your finger and apply it, the shimmer shades. Holy moly, it's like a different shadow. That's crazy. Yeah, the eyeshadow applies so much better if you just use your finger. So I applied the blue tone with my finger, and it definitely was like a day and night transformation. The warmth of my finger just helped for the pigmentation to go on so much better. So yeah, for the shimmer colors in this palette, definitely recommend applying it with your fingers, because with the brush that it came with, it like picked up no shadow at all, and it was like looked like there was nothing there. With my MAC 242 that I normally apply shimmer shades with, even when I wet it, it went on a little bit more, but not as intense as I wanted it. But once I went with my finger, it was like perfect. I want to try this pigment, so I'm going to use this to highlight the inner corner and also to kind of bring some shimmer to like the center of my lid. This is the pigment that came in the mixed metal eyes that comes with the 2 little liquid eyeshadows and then the long-lasting eye pen. Take some on a little pencil brush. I'm gonna spray my brush because I always spray my brush whenever I use like loose shadows. Right to this inner corner. Ooh. Oh my god, this is like literally almost identical to my MAC Melon pigment. Now to be honest, they're like pretty similar in price. The only thing is that this kit, if you can get your hands on it, it comes with the pigment and then an eye pen and then the 2 liquid shadows. I'm not sure how good those other products are, but I do like this. My eye is kind of reminding me of like Dory from Finding Nemo. Liquid eyeshadow. This is in Gilded, and I'm gonna put that like in the inner corner just to see. I feel like I'm gonna have too much going on. Ooh. Okay, I actually really like this over top of shadow. I wasn't a fan of it by itself, but do you guys just see how much brighter it made the eye area? I tried the Profusion Metallic Eye in Gilded. This was the same one in that kit with the pigment. And I applied that in my inner corner, and it showed up very bright over top of other shadow. It's just not very pigmented on its own. It is looking a little chunky, but I do really like the color. I use too much of this product where it starts looking chunky. So I'm just kind of applying it straight from the tube and then just buffing it out with my MAC 242. But it gives a really pretty pop to the eye. I'm gonna move on to foundation. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording for the foundation and concealer, and I'll just bring you guys back when I go and set my under eye and contour, because those are some of the face products that I'm trying from this line. I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eye using the Profusion Contour Kit. So I was excited when I saw this because it comes with a shimmering highlight, it comes with an under eye highlight, and then 3 different contour shades and a brush and a mirror. So I would like the powder in it because it has more of that yellow tone, which is what I like for the under eye. See if it's comparable to like the banana powder or any of the Anastasia contour kits. And I've tried some other drugstore contour kits, but this by far was the cheapest This one was only $6.99. And I'm gonna start by setting my under eye using the beige highlight. It's more that yellowy tone. So I'm gonna take that with a dry beauty sponge and just put that, whoa, I have to blot under my eye area. Just kind of patting it inward. I'm also gonna apply this down my nose, under my nose, chin, and my forehead. Pretty much all the places where I normally highlight. My regular base setting powder, just because I never use like an under eye setting powder for all over my face. To set the rest of my face, I'm just gonna go ahead and take my MAC Studio Finish Perfecting Powder and do it how I normally would. Under eyes aren't looking awful. So far so good. To contour, I'm gonna start with I'll start with the medium one and build up from there because I don't want it to go too dark. So I'm gonna take this one with my MAC 109 and I'm just going to place that up here. So I went ahead and accidentally dipped into that dark one. Definitely only want to pick up a little bit at a time because that goes on super intense. Luckily, these are really easy to buff out, so that's good. Right off the bat, the setting powder for under the eyes, I wouldn't recommend in this, at least not for me. I notice it's like cracking and like separating on my nose. Just not, I don't know, it's just not sitting as nice on the skin, but the contour definitely blends out really nice. Contour powders would be really nice to have like if you're like a makeup artist, because it has different tones for different skin complexions. So I do recommend that, and I definitely still think it's worth it because this kit was only $6.99. So I mean, for the contours itself, that's a really good deal. Some of the lighter tone, and I'm gonna use that to contour my nose. This looks like a really good nose contouring color because it's super neutral. Let's try out this highlight, see if this highlight is any good. Shimmer highlight right here. It's like a very stark white one. I kind of highlight the tip of my nose. It might be too light for my cheekbone, but we'll see. Very bright. It reminds me a lot of like, just like a really pigmented. This would be beautiful, like in the inner corner, has an inner corner highlight. Oh yes. The inner corner some more. For the cheekbone. It's pretty. It's very, this would look beautiful on very fair skin too. It's very bright and it's very cool tone. Very, I keep saying very. Oh my gosh, this is like hella pigmented. Would this be the highlight I grab for my complexion every day? Probably not, because it's so like white and like beaming, but it is pretty. If you are more of like a fair complexion, this would be perfect. Blush, I'm going to be trying out their blush palette. This palette was just $4.99 and it came with 6 blush shades. It's like a better deal than e.l.f. Try like these two, mix them together. They just look really pretty. This is more of like a neutral brownie pink, and this has like a little bit of a shimmery peachy. Alright, so these blushes will win. $4.99 for 6 shades. And they blend really nice. The colors are beautiful. I'm gonna try their brow kit. Like I said, they had a smaller one and then they had a really large one. This one comes with 4 brow colors, and then you have a wax color and then like an underbrow highlight. You get a brush and a brow pencil. So I'm gonna try a little bit of everything. I like how this brush has a spoolie. The brush even looks pretty nice too. So I'm gonna try applying it with the brush. I'll start with the spoolie and just kind of comb through my brow hairs. Pencil. I'm gonna outline the bottom with the pencil and then kind of fill in with the powder. Not an awful. Take the soft brown color here. Use that to fill in Actually, I'll take some of the, yeah, I'll take some of the soft brown. The medium brown and run that through the front part. So it's not, the brush it comes with is pretty good too, I must say. They had another brow kit that was, I believe, $9.99. And it came with literally tweezers, a brush, several different brow duos, and it was just like only $9.99. I'm like, what? Brows aren't looking awful. Like, this is not a bad brow product. So I'm really happy with this product as well. I'm just gonna try the Profusion long lasting liquid eye pen. This is the one that came in like the little kit with the pigment and the other liquid metal. The tip is a little bit thick, it's more dense eye pen, but we will see how this works out. For like a beginning liner user, it's good because then you normally have more control of the wing. I'm not mad, like it's very pigmented, easy to apply. That kit, like as far as the liquid eye pen and then that loose pigment in it, to me, that already pays for it itself, even if you don't use any of the liquid shadows. Go ahead and pop some lashes on, put some lipstick on, and I'll be right back to finish up my final thoughts. Alright, so here we have it, the completed look. I went ahead and I took that same liquid eye pen and I put that on my waterline. And then I just smoked out my lower lash line with these same like crease colors, the more warm tones that we put in the crease. Popped on my false lashes and put on my lip, and this is what we came out with today. That was everything. That was literally so much product, and I was super excited to try it all out. Now, if I could just collectively wrap up my thoughts. Eyeshadow palette I definitely like. I felt like you had a good balance of some matte tone shimmer colors, neutral colors, bolder shades. This was really nice. And like I said, they had a more like everyday neutral palette that I feel like everybody could get good use out of. They blended really nice. The only thing I will say is that the shimmer shades weren't very pigmented unless you use your fingers. Even when I wet my brush with Fix Plus, which normally always makes shadows show up super intense, with these it just wasn't having it. The only way to get that super pigmented payoff was when I used my fingers. The next product that I really liked was the blush palette. $4.99, and you got all of these colors. I just felt like they went on super smooth. They were pigmented without being too intense, so they were really easy to work with, and I will definitely be using like this blush combo a lot. The product I really enjoyed was the brow powders. The pencil was really nice to outline my brows. I have no idea where it is right now, but I also really like the brush. I didn't think I would like the brush that came in the kit, but I used this to fill in my brows. The spoolie was nice, so that was really cool too. And then I just like the way the powders kind of blended in my brows. I had nothing bad to say about this. For being $6.99, I feel like this is great to have. For the contour kit, I definitely liked the shades that it came with. I liked the way the contours blended out. They blended out really nice, especially for being $6.99 and getting all of this. The highlight was pretty. It's not my favorite highlight ever, but it definitely did the job, and I really liked it as an inner corner highlight. So yeah, this powder didn't really do a great job at setting. Like, my foundation is separating and it just doesn't look nice on the skin. However, I do really like the way the contours blended out, and I feel like these were perfect. And I feel like these three shades pay for the kit itself, between the contours and the highlight, for it just being $6.99. Like, I don't necessarily need a highlight powder. So I definitely think this contour kit is really cool to have, and I really liked it. The product I didn't really care for was the liquid eye metal. This just kind of like started cracking on my eye. I have it in front of here and it's just looking really chunky and cracking. I feel like the color looks beautiful on camera, but I don't know if it was just that I put too much product on, but it's just too thick, too chunky. However, I did really like the pigment that came in the same kit that this came with, and the eyeliner wasn't bad at all. So I feel like between the pigment and the liner that came in this set, it was definitely worth picking up. The liner went on super smooth, very good for somebody who's like a beginner liquid liner person, who's really easy to work with. The only thing I didn't care for was that I couldn't get my wings super like thin and like super precise since the brush was a little bit bigger, but I mean, I could still work with it. Pretty much everything. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed getting to see a new brand and trying out some different products with me. Hope you got some inspiration of some new stuff to get. Leave the links to everything down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Definitely don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see new videos from me each week. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!